Welcome to the Boulder Arts Commission's meeting. It is February 18th, 2026, and I will call roll. Cheryl Cardozo. Marie Cole.
Here.
Jeffrey Cash.
Present.
Jill Katzenberger. Caroline Kurt.
Here.
Oh.
Gaia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Yalin Wayel could not make it. All right, I will turn over the meeting to Vice Chair Cash for procedural items.
Thank you. Before we call to order, do we have a quorum?
We do. We have 4 of.
Thank you very much. I would like to call to order, but to call to order, Commissioner Cole, her final meeting will be next month, and that will be a very busy one. And she and I are the only 2 commissioners in the room. So we get to do what we want tonight. And I would like to give her the honor of calling to order tonight's meeting along with the use of the gavel.
Okay, meeting called to order.
Thank you. Actually, hold on to it because you can adjourn this anytime you want, actually. With that, we'd like to look for an approval for the agenda for a motion for that.
I'll move to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it. I don't know if I should be doing that, but I'll second that. It's fine.
All those in favor? And I don't have commissioners in view online. So I can't see if they're raising their hand or not.
Oh, okay. I can. It's not showing on top. Okay.
I'd like to see the.
Let me see if I can fix that.
Thank you. As she's working on that, can we have verbal approvals for approval of the agenda? I heard from Caroline.
Yes, I approve. This is Gaia.
And that is Gaia. Okay, then we have an approval for that. And then the minutes, do we have an approval for the January 26th meeting minutes? Do we have a motion for that?
I'll move to approve those.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I have one change, and that would be that my name is misspelled. And that was during Caroline Kurt's comments that she made within that section for liaison updates. Any other discussion before we take a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
And we're gonna need verbals.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
Thank you.
Caroline is a yes.
Gaia is a yes.
Thank you. That is approved. Public participation. Do we have anyone signed up for that?
We do. We have 2 attendees. We have Yvonne, and then we have Lynn Siegel online. We'll check in with Lynn online first, and then we'll go to Yvonne.
Okay, beautiful.
Hey, Melissa, can you enable screen sharing so I can pull up the public comment stuff?
You should be able to share screen because you're a panelist.
It says host disabled. Maybe I need to
Okay.
rejoin.
Hi there, Lynn.
Hi.
Did you have anything you'd like to share tonight?
Can we remind on the rules and regulations and the time limits on public comment, please?
Yes.
Thank you. One moment, Lynn.
Sure.
Public participation. The city has engaged with community members to co-create a vision and productive, meaningful, and inclusive civic conversations. This vision supports physical and emotional safety for community members, staff, and council, as well as democracy for people of all ages, identities, lived experiences, and political perspectives. For more information about this vision and the community engagement processes, please visit bouldercolorado.gov/services productive atmospheres and the Boulder Revised Code section. The city will enforce the rules of decorum found in the Boulder Revised Code section XVI, including participants are required to sign up using the name they are commonly known by. and individuals must display their whole name before being allowed to speak online. Currently, only audio testimony is permitted online. No attendee shall disrupt, disturb, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of any meeting in a manner that obstructs the business of the meeting. This also includes failing to obey any lawful order of the presiding officer to leave the meeting room or refrain from addressing the commission. All remarks and testimony shall be limited to matters related to city business. No standing in or otherwise blocking the aisles in violation of fire code. No participant shall make
Nice effect.
There we go. No participant shall make threats or use other forms of intimidation against any person. We ask that you not affix items to the podium. Signs, flags, or other items used to communicate must be held by one person when displayed. Obscenity and other epithets based on race, gender, or religion with another speech and behavior disrupts or otherwise impedes the meeting will not be tolerated. In-person participants are asked to refrain from expressing support or disagreement verbally or with sounds such as applause or snapping, with the exception of declarations. Traditionally, support is shown through American Sign Language, applause, or jazz hands.
We're working out some technical difficulties on this side just for smoothness so thanks for being patient with us.
Sure.
Sarah, you should be able to share now for later. That's part one.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can. I checked. We're good.
Thank you. Okay, hold on. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. Get it at least put on one screen. It's a,
Without delaying further, can everyone hear us at least?
I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Let's go ahead and have Lynn start then. And then I'll start the timer for you now.
Who am I speaking to?
This is the Boulder Arts Commission.
Right, the person I'm speaking to.
This is Jeffrey Cash. How are you, my dear?
Oh, Jeffrey, hi. No, good to meet you. I didn't think it was Matt Chizansky, and the other woman is not Lauren Glick, is it?
Lauren Click is with the city of Boulder, yes.
Right, but she's not in the room, is she?
She is in the room, yes.
Oh, she is on the right. I can't see you. I'd like to see you while I'm testifying.
I'm so sorry, we're having some tech setup issues.
Earlier you were on the screen. The room was on the screen. Maybe you just need to click another button. And I'd be glad for you to see me, but that's not possible. And I don't think the
Can you see
trade-off.
the-
Yeah.
can you see it
Now I
now?
see you. Now I see you. I
Okay.
see. Now I don't.
You come over here, Lauren.
Now I do.
Oh, you mean me as a human? Sorry, I'm trying to help with the technical stuff.
There's Lauren.
Hi.
Hi. Now I just see my name.
There's three dots in the top right corner, where you can pin the Boulder Arts Commission, so that stays on the screen.
Oh, I don't have that on my screen. It's at your end. I do Zooms all the time, so I know it's at your end, but you just have to figure out which way. I'll tell you what's on the screen until you can figure it out.
I switched it. I pinned our room
Oh, the
as
room,
the main
please.
screen. Can you see us
Now my
now?
name's on the screen.
Okay. How's that?
Now it's the room. Yay.
Perfect.
Oh,
Sorry
now
about
my
that,
name.
Lynn.
Now it's my name again.
Whenever she's talking, it's going to her. I pinned us.
Now the room. Now my name.
So whenever she's talking, it's
Now the
flipping
room.
to-
It's still in the room. Now my name.
Okay.
Now the room.
I think we'll just need to move forward as it is. I'm having technical difficulties that I don't think I'll be able to remedy in a quick time.
I
So-
think if you leave it, oh, when I speak, it goes to black. Well,
And I'm not sure what is going on.
I think it needs to go with a peculiar person, and then I'll see the room.
Lauren, could you come join us again?
Sure. It's when she's talking,
Right,
it's,
I understand, which is why we'll go through her 3 minutes and then move on from there.
thank you.
Okay. Am I correct that they have 3 minutes for public comment?
Yeah.
Versus 2. Okay. Lynn, you have 3 minutes starting now. Thank you very much for joining
Can't
us.
see you. Oh no, now I don't see you. But as long as I'm talking, I can't see you. Now when I stop talking, I still don't see you.
I know, I'm sorry, Lynn, I'm not able to remedy this technical issue we're having in a short period of time. If we could please move on. I'm so sorry that you're not able to see the room while you're talking.
Yeah, we have started your 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's really important to me. So could you arrange that for next time so that I don't have to waste your time and my time? And I'm more than willing to have my view on your screen. And I don't really think it's a reasonable trade-off for Zoom bombing for the lack of human connectivity on this already remote, meeting. So I'm just throwing that out there to pass it along to the higher ups that are in charge of this policy that is really overdue to be changed. Um, and I'm so thankful to you. I wish I could see you because I like the reaction of seeing that, I I'm so glad that you're here in my community doing the arts. Um, my daughter is a water artist, and today I went to a mortuary discussion about there's this one liquefaction way of decomposing a body that uses 500 to 1 parts of water to body parts. It's just stunning that that much water use could happen. And um, my daughter is a climate artist. I'm freezing cold right now. I've got if you could see me, you'd see I have my down jacket on, um, 2 comforters. One is a sleeping bag that's really thick marmot, and a quilt, 2 quilts. And I'm just staying cold until I can maximize the amount that I'm spending to Excel Energy for um, heating and cooling. And it's worth it to me for my 2 kids um, to save for their future over my own. And I'll just suffer through this being cold until I can get it resolved. So um, the um, the appreciation I have of the arts in Boulder is there's a bit of a concern I have because I'm not big on commuting. I drive my car 4 times a year, and I um, don't like driving my bike up to North Boulder. It's a really long commute, and I have time constraints.
Then we're at 3 minutes.
Yeah, so I hope that Performing Arts Center, you're considering those trade-offs of people commuting around town for the arts.
Thank
But
you, Lynn.
what you're doing, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, and we have another member of the public that would like to speak. Yvonne.
You give me a 1 minute warning when it's almost.
Oh, yeah, I'll be glad to do that. I'll do that for you. How's that?
Can anybody hear? They're on mute.
Yeah, I can hear him.
BIPOC member of the community. These funds are really
Jeffrey,
critical, and it
I'm
would be
sorry
great
to interrupt.
commend-
Jeffrey, the
We'll
room has,
start over.
sorry,
Sorry.
we need to start over. Thank you. Sorry
What's
to
going on?
interrupt.
What's going on?
Can you hear now?
Can you hear
We
us
can
now?
hear now. You have been on mute since he began speaking, so please.
Sorry, Yvonne. Wow. Sorry, guys.
It's gonna have it very well rehearsed by the time we
Yeah,
get through
exactly.
this.
That was a test round. Thank you.
Once more with feeling, please. No. Can you hear us now before we start up again?
I hear you.
Okay.
Okay,
I can hear you.
okay, so I'm gonna start now.
Maybe do a little test to make sure that.
Oh, can you hear my voice?
Yes,
I can.
we can hear
I
now.
hear-
Thank you.
I hear
Thank you.
that guy's voice.
Okay. Okay. Hi, my name is Ivan Espinosa, and I'm a PhD candidate at the CU Boulder Department of Theater and Dance. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to the Boulder Arts Commission for your service to our community. Thank you to the Office of Arts and Culture staff for all of their hard work and their service to our community. So I'm here for two reasons. Number one, I'm here to make an appeal to the Boulder Arts Commissioners that are going to take a vote today on my community project grant for individuals. I'm here to make a humble appeal that you please do not postpone the approval of my grant. There's a staff recommendation to postpone the approval of the $900 grant funds that are still owed to me. And I'm asking you to please not postpone the approval of those grant funds because as a low-income Latino BIPOC member of the community, these funds are critical. So I'm making that personal appeal to you. Number two, I think that the staff recommendation is actually based on just a simple misunderstanding. I received an email from Sarah Harrison, and there were just some mistakes in her email. For example, Sarah Harrison said that there was no upload of the Boulder Arts Commission logo on the performance materials. And she just made a mistake. That is just not true. I brought a copy of the official performance program that was handed out all 4 nights of the show at the Dairy Center. The Boulder Arts Commission logo is clearly printed, and there's even a line on the front of the program acknowledging the support and thanking the Boulder Arts Commission for your support. So Sarah Harrison is just wrong on that. In addition, if you go right now to the website, go online now to the Dairy website for my performance, you're going to clearly see that on the public website, hundreds of people saw it. There's a clear line that says, thank you to the Boulder Arts Commission. This performance is funded in part by the Boulder Arts Commission, an agency of the Boulder City Council. So Sarah's just wrong on that. The other thing that Sarah said is that there were no updates to the report draft from 2024. And the reason is because there were no major changes to the project structure. The only change was the venue change from BMoCA to Dairy, and that is clearly noted in the report. So as you can see, I did my due diligence, I followed what needed to be followed, and I'm making a humble, kind appeal that you please ignore the staff recommendation and vote to approve my grant report. Thank you so much.
You got that at 2 minutes and 59 seconds.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Did we have any comments before we move on? Because we are going to vote on that later if you are able to stick around in case there's any conversation. But does anyone want to engage with Yvonne at this time?
I do have a question. Thank you, Yvonne, for clarifying because I did have some questions on the report that you submitted. I'm not in the room. I assume that what you're saying about the logo has caught everybody up to the circumstances, so that's great. The question I had when I was reading, and it's going to take some time for me to find your grant report, but the last paragraph, it was referencing that your program was going to be scheduled for January, so it was looking forward to January of 2026. And I understand that your program has now been completed. I remember being at the dairy and seeing that that was going off and being excited about that because I remember really liking your application. So I also had a question about whether that had been updated with things like how many, how did it go? How many people came? What did you learn? That's the kind of information that I would be looking for in a report like that.
Thank you. In the report, I included a link to the official Dairy Center webpage for my project. And if you just click on that link, you can read all about it. You can see pictures. You can also see how the Boulder Arts Commission is acknowledged with gratitude, and the Boulder Arts Commission is acknowledged as a funder of this project. So if you just click on the link, it takes you to the official page, and you can see that the performance successfully took place and the project was successfully realized. And last but not least, in the report, I indicate all of the collaborations that I successfully formed. I listed the organizations, diverse organizations that I successfully collaborated with, and I included pictures of the performance as well. So all of that was included. I'm under the impression that I followed the necessary steps, and that's why I'm asking you to please vote to approve my report so I can receive the remaining grant funds.
I'm not seeing on the link that addresses, I'd like to hear from other commissioners, but
Yeah.
I definitely want to hear about how your goals were achieved, what you learned, things like that.
Hi, this is Gaia Vinay. Ivan, thank you for being here and thank you for taking the time. Um, I I did read your report, and the link that you included just takes people to the general schedule for programs at the dairy. So there's no specific information, and the website information that the show information, that particular website also just includes a description. And you are right, in the last paragraph it does thank the Boulder Arts and Culture. And I have to agree with Caroline. Your report is from 2024. Between 2024 and 2025, a lot can change. And I can read to you a couple of examples if you want from other reports that people have submitted. They take a lot of time. They make effort to share content, and they really showcase the work that they've done, because I'm assuming that you'll want to continue to receive grants. So this is also something where they say, oh, we've been a good partner as well to the city and we received this grant money and we've supported in this way and produced this wonderful show. And your report doesn't include any of that information. And I don't, like, I just have a hard time understanding why you wouldn't be able to do that, because dairy does provide you information on ticket sales and attendance and everything else. So this is information that is available to you.
Yvonne, you represent everything we want to support here. And I'm the numbers guy. So when I was looking through that, I was looking at things like, it needs some updating. And we just want to keep everything consistent and accountable. And I'm sure staff would be happy to share, Guy had just mentioned, examples of ones that you can even use as a template just for what the impact numbers were, who was there, so that when other folks are also filling out their grant reports, we have all of the numbers, what they learned, what we could have done better, what they could have done better. Were there any learning opportunities there? But because those things are missing, is there a way that if that is provided, if it's updated and provided before the next meeting, can we do a vote online so that we're not having him wait another month?
If you get a quorum, you could do like a very short
We could
meeting.
do a quick meeting online sometime. So I guess my recommendation might be, once we get there, and we haven't voted on it yet, so it might be different once we get there. If it is a no vote tonight for the remainder of the amount, it would be just a pause where we just say, here's the information we need. It's very cut and dry. If you can provide that to us in a really accurate way within the format we've got, then we could get together, okay that, and then have the city release the funds.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we haven't voted on it yet, so it may pass yet. But if it doesn't, we're gonna find a way around this, because this is your second grant with us, and we're really proud of the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Any other comment?
No, I just want to reiterate what you said, Jeffrey. I really love this project. I'm glad you got people in there to see it, and looking forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry it was delayed because of medical stuff. That's the absolute worst.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. If there's no other comment on this, going once, going twice.
We do have another member of the public online. Do we want to try to reset the meeting first, or would we like?
Are
to see-
they scheduled to speak?
We could, I mean,
Regardless, we're going to take a 5-minute break while we reset all of the technology.
in the room. So you should be able to stay on the Zoom.
Great.
Can you mute the room then?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, can you all see and hear us now? Okay, I see some nodding.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I apologize. We had to do a hard reset and I will.
Jeffrey, I had one other follow-up. I'm sorry, I forgot that I also have this question on the report, and that is that the expenses are rounded numbers, so that always has me looking a little bit more closely. I understand when you're making payments for labor that those may be in chunks, and so that makes sense to me. The mushroom cultivation and sculpture material costs is set at an even $2,000. And I would encourage us to request the actual numbers that were spent on the project as well.
Okay, when we get to the vote for that, I will mark that down as
Thank you.
something to ask for as well.
All right, I want to check in with the member from the public to make sure, they just said they were attending. I want to
Okay.
make sure they didn't need to share anything.
Thank you.
Hi there, Pat. Did you have anything you wanted to share this evening?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, we are ready to move on.
Okay, wonderful. With that, we will go to our matters from commissioners, starting with liaison updates.
I can start. Colorado Music Festival is busy planning their 50th year anniversary. This is a big deal. It's on their website. Mahler Fest as well. Their festival is on the website. So I encourage and their creative director is just amazing and always really in touch with both obviously the music of Mahler, but how that more broadly impacts other things going on in our society. So I recommend you look at that festival and attend. And BMOCA's work on the North Boulder campus is ongoing, and they're currently in the schematic design phase.
I was absent last month because I was sick, and then we did not have a meeting in December. I have too many liaison updates to update in a mere meeting, and so rather than spend a lot of time going through those, I will just give us a reminder and a friendly reminder to live in a town of 100,000 people, and if you ever hear anyone say we have nothing going on here, give them my phone number, and I will let them know what I've done in the last 3 months.
I was overwhelmed with that feeling as I was going through those GOS reports. Man, there's so much going on here.
You mean the 1,000 pages of them?
Yes, the 1,000 pages of them. So my updates, things going on this month from the Boulder Chamber Orchestra. They have a concert on February 28th. That's Saturday evening. They always hold it at the Boulder Advent Church, and it's a violinist with a pianist, which will be a lovely evening. And then the Catamounts has a production in 3 days. So that is on Saturday evening, on February 21st. That is their final date, and I want to check in if anybody's interested in going to that. I would love to attend. And then finally, Mariposa Collective has early March. So March 6th and March 7th, production of Reminiscence, which would be really cool because it involves not only theater aspects and dance aspects, but shadow puppetry, which will be very interesting. Those are mine. Sarah, adorable.
Hello. I'm battling a cold. I have a sick kid and a barking dog, so I'm going to go quickly. But I had a lovely meeting with Todd from East Window. They're just doing some really interesting stuff around, I guess, sort of the current atmosphere in the world, and they're all about centering voices that usually aren't centered. And I think they're doing some really interesting photography work. So I recommend if you find yourself in North Boulder to stop in there. And meeting with JCC and Betsy, moving forward, and scheduling with Colorado Shakespeare Festival, who are excited about opening this summer.
Yes, the
So
reopening of the
Thank
Mary
you.
Rippon Theater on Sunday, June 8th. Whatever that Sunday is, that's the opening.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Look how long your hair is getting, Cheryl.
Like, thank you. And
Hi, this is Guy. I don't have my usual updates. I've been very remiss this month in checking out a lot of things, but just quickly, the local theater company is trying to relaunch their program that they've been doing in schools, and it's a playwriting, you know, it's a really great program where they go into a school and they work with the teacher and the curriculum for these children to create their own play, and then professional actors go in and perform those plays, and it's been a really fun program. And they were in a couple of schools, and that partnership that they had with BVSD has sort of fallen off, and they're trying to get that back and up and running. And they've hired a new person who's going to be working on the education side. So I've been working with them, trying to help them connect it to some of the private schools where it's not going to be so bogged down by red tape, and they can actually start seeing if there's a way to get this program in. And that's the
Perfect.
biggest update there.
I know that I'm sorry to interrupt. I know they've had a lot better luck engaging with St. Vrain Valley School District for the last several years on that, which is not surprising.
Yeah, for sure, they've had a lot of success there, and those videos coming out of there are so fun to watch. And then the other thing is Roots is gearing up for a big year. Roots Music Festival, which they helped produce, is coming up in August this year. And I was so anxious when I saw the Rufus Du Sol concert, which is on August 22nd, thankfully, a few days before Roots Music Festival. So there's not going to be that overlap, at least, like we had with John Summit last year. So that's good. And they are full speed ahead. They're putting out calls for artists and really working hard on that. So those are the two big updates.
Is that everyone? That is everyone. That was nice and efficient. Yeah. Okay. Commission work items. You want to speak to this? Because I know you've been assigning and scheduling things out. Some of us have not met yet. We're meeting in a couple weeks, specifically on sustainability and climate. Are there any that have met that you want to have any updates from?
Sure. Actually, I think for arts education, Cheryl, do you want to give an update?
I forgot that I was going to do this, but I will. Yes, we are. I'm not sure exactly where we are in launching the website or the mapping of all of our youth organizations, but it's moving forward because of the amazing staff in that office, and I guess also IT people. And we are. I don't think I got that list. Speaking of that, Lauren, I'll do that offline. But we're going to be inviting organizations that work with young people to work with us at Boulder Arts Week. So we're sending a formal invitation to them that will come from Gillade and I don't know, the whole commission. I don't know. I'm waiting for more guidance from the geniuses in the office. So we have met and we have another meeting on the books already. So that feels like an accomplishment too. Am I missing anything, Lauren?
Oh, totally. Thank you.
Mhm.
And the AI one met as well. Caroline here is with us. If you can talk, I know your voice is kind of rough.
Yeah, I think where we're at is we wanted to bring in some subject matter experts to talk to us about it. And then we've also got a topic for a broader workshop. When is that? I'm sorry, I don't have my notes in front of me.
Oh, it's okay. If you don't mind too. So the city staff member who's the primary liaison about AI is going to come speak with the group, which will be wonderful. And then we are hoping to do a series, a summit, a forum, and a collaboration with Boulder County Arts Alliance to talk about different topics. So
Yeah, but we don't have a date for that. That's why I can't remember.
That's right.
But
That's right.
yeah, trying to educate ourselves and the public and that'll help inform anything that we want to bring to the commission in terms of further work items.
Okay. And then sustainability and climate adaptation, that group is gathering for their initial meeting next Monday. Accessibility.
Same, we have a meeting scheduled.
Okay, that is forthcoming then.
Yes.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to grants program and an update on the Mackey agreement. There's basically, it's nothing crazy, but it's basically, we're just making an announcement as to what it is for general public knowledge for any changes to that. Sarah, you want to take that away?
Yes. All right, so we had a request from the University of Colorado Boulder to add the following. Applicant must be in good financial standing with Mackey Auditorium in order to be eligible for this waiver. If applicant has an outstanding balance with Mackey Auditorium, it must be paid in full or have other written agreements or a formal payment plan in place to be eligible for this waiver. So that would be a change to the eligibility requirements.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the requested addition to the Mackey fee waiver eligibility requirements as stated in the meeting materials.
I second that. And all those in favor? I see all the hands. That is unanimous. Thank you.
Great. And then we received every single one of the reports for general operating support. So I'm really happy about that and commend all of the grantees for doing that difficult work. And we did receive two after the manager's memo, Eco Arts Connections and JLF Colorado. But they requested extensions and filled theirs in before those deadlines. So you have the opportunity to approve all reports, approve individual reports while submitting specific questions, postpone approval of individual reports pending the answers to specific questions, or not approve the reports. And Caroline, I think you have your hand raised.
And you're muted, my dear.
Thank you. I need to recuse myself from Moon and Stars, Kundara.
Okay, got it. So that would be two separate vote languages, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, one moment.
Oh, sorry, lowering my hand.
All right.
Do I have to recuse myself from the dairy and roots?
Is that okay, so that would be a third vote, correct? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, when we recuse, oh no, we have four still when we recuse ourselves because Cheryl's here.
Okay, so
Oh, I get to recuse myself from the Shakespeare Festival.
okay.
It's only one this year. I think so.
I will add that in a second when we get to that vote. And then for this vote language, do we say like except for Moon and Stars Foundation, except
Yeah.
Okay. Any others? Okay.
Yeah. Anyone want to take first motion?
Do we provide comments before the vote, after the vote? Can
We
I
do
just-
we do a motion, we do a second, and then we do comments.
I can take this.
Thank you.
Oh, but can I take this with the dairy arts? I can.
Yes, you can because it's leaving it out.
Okay, good. I move that we approve the reports from the organizations as listed in the manager's memo as part of the meeting packet, with the addition of EcoArts Connections and JLF Colorado that submitted their reports after the memo was sent completed, with the exceptions of Moon and Stars Foundation, Dairy Arts Center, Roots Music Project, and Colorado Shakespeare Company. Cool.
I'll second.
Discussion.
So, I mean, I reviewed most of the reports. I read all of them.
God bless you.
Oh, what? Can I
I
continue?
said, God bless you.
God bless me. And in such a rush too, I did read all my liaisons much more closely. I wanted to say that I'm really struck by just how wonderful and diverse the arts ecosystem is in Boulder. And this is my first full year, and I was so impressed reading that. I think they're delivering so much meaningful impact, from education, youth education, to public art, to culturally specific programming. And it's just with such lean and mean, and very limited reserves in some cases. What stood out to me as a little bit concerning is that there was so much variation in financial stability amongst all these organizations. Some were super liquid and strong, and had clear reserve strategies, and some are doing so much community work with very, very thin cushions. And I think, just as we think about this year and how to support them, and you all may already be doing this, and while we recognize that we have so much artistic and community impact, I wonder if there's a way to bring in some, or share some sort of help with them, or training, to teach them some more tactics and strategies to improve their reserve building, and just to help them plan for the long term as well. And again, you may already do this, but that was like, just when I was reading it, that was thought that popped in my mind.
Wonderful, thank you.
And Caroline has her hand raised.
Caroline?
Thank you. I also was struck and nearly overwhelmed with the breadth and depth of what is going on in this city. I noted a few things. One is that I was heartened to have a year where not very many people were still mentioning the pandemic. So I'm hoping that that is not because they're just tired of talking about it, and that that is a real indicator that audiences are rebuilding, and people are finding their feet again after such instability. I also was really struck that curiously about just there, I think there were only two that I saw that had any sort of plans or comments, and I know they have limited space, on how they were going to be impacted or partnering with Sundance. And so I'm curious to continue to keep my ear to the community on how that is impacting people, and how we can support everybody continuing to thrive as we enter a crazy year. And then thirdly, I mean, our organizations, there are so many that are really becoming world-class providers of the arts and education, and drawing world-class audiences and artists to come and perform with them. And that is only good for everybody. And I can't wait to see what happens coming out of this next cycle, when we have even more resources to share with our arts community.
Thank you. Anyone else before we take a vote? With that, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor? And we have a unanimous. Thank you. For the next portion, where we're taking in, I will use this. I will do this one. I move that we approve the following reports for 2026.
Are we doing the moon and stars?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna take my headphones out, and if someone can just wave wildly when I'm okay to come
Lauren
back.
will do some interpretive dance.
Okay.
Dance, ballerina dance. I move that we approve the following reports for the 2022 to 2020.
Yeah, that's when they originally awarded.
2026 GOS grants, Moon and Stars Foundation, doing business as Kutundara.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Other than I just love that organization. They're so much fun to watch as well as hear. With that, all those in favor? So moved.
I see you, Lauren.
For you. And then I move that we approve the following reports for the 2022-2026 GOS grants, the Dairy Arts Center and Roots Music Festival.
Second.
All those in favor that can vote? Unanimous?
I'll take on the last one. I move that we approve the following reports for the 2022 to 26 GOS grants, Colorado Shakespeare Company.
I second.
that.
All in favor? Guess that I just took over for the all in favor.
Oh, sorry.
All in favor? Yeah. Great. Okay, Jeffrey's come.
Okay. I move that we've already done that one. Did we do Dairy Arts Center Roots Music Project?
We did.
I think we
Okay.
have it covered. So great.
Okay, beautiful. Next is Yvonne Daniel Espinosa's the megamorphosis. And this is for the final portion of the payment, which is $900. Is there language? Or should we discuss first? We should discuss first.
I think so.
Okay. I want to help him get across the finish line. How do we do that?
Yeah, I would too. Is it possible, Lauren, can we do like a contingent vote that we don't even have to get back together online and say, with the contingency that there is a report with these elements submitted, then the office has authority to release the final payment before the next meeting?
If we're agreeable to that, I would work with staff and him to come up with the templates and actually finish out the report so that we could actually, if we were agreeable to, I think even Maria had this idea, if we were agreeable to finish the payment, then I would work with making sure that this gets finished as it should be.
That would be my preference, is to release the payment with and since you volunteered to work to make sure we get what we need, that would be great.
Okay.
I'm a little bit concerned about setting the precedent, only because this is one report this time, but what if it is multiple reports, and does it make it okay that for other partners, that if they do an event and don't submit a full report, to take more time and submit it later and get this contingency? I mean, I liked your other plan, Jeffrey, of saying, let's table this for now and meet in the middle of the month if we can get a quorum to vote on this again.
Maria and Caroline, you've been around longest. What's the history with this?
I feel like we've had precedent where we approve and ask for follow-up information. And, obviously the range of follow-up information has been varies. Sometimes it's just answering a question, sometimes it's been following up with some data. So I would like to, again, I like to suggest that we approve it and and again, you've committed to follow up and make sure that.
And this would be the payment of the final
$900.
20%.
Right.
Of the funding. The other 80% has been paid out.
And I think we could note this is not a precedent. This is just a specific incident.
Cheryl has her hand raised, and then Carolyn.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I can't remember who, but early in my tenure, I remember that we gave the funds when we had questions on the report. So, and yeah, I don't like the idea of somebody being in a really financially precarious position, because I'm confident that, especially with Jeffrey's help, he's going to get there. And so I prefer Maria's plan.
Caroline?
Yeah, I wasn't really suggesting, I'm sorry if it came across that way, that we approve it now. I was just trying to think of a mechanism that the approval, yeah. So I'm sorry if I guided us down a weird path by suggesting that. I'm kind of torn. There's a report, but it's not really the report that's asked for. And I feel like the changes that we're requesting are a little bit more than just some follow-up questions, which we absolutely have done in the past. We've definitely taken reports and said, oh, we still, give us the information on how many people showed up. This feels a little bit more broad than that, but it's not a hill that I'm going to die on if people feel confident that it's fair to move forward with it.
Would you like to make a motion?
Sure. So if it's okay with everyone, I'll make a motion for us to vote on. So I'd like to move that we release the final.
Here's the next slide.
Is there another slide? Sarah? Okay, maybe there's not. I'd like to move that we release the remaining funds for Evan Daniels Espinoza's micromorphosis, dancing with the fungi, multimedia bio installation of $900 with the commitment that Ivan Daniel follows up with us with the missing information.
Do we have a second? Cheryl has a second.
Okay. I'll
Any
second,
further
but I'll second, but I have a comment too. Is it too late for that?
And I have
No, it's not too late. So we do have a second. Do we have any further comment?
Yeah.
I have discussion. Yeah.
Okay. If I just wanted to add on to the language that Maria used, perhaps a due date, a time frame.
Can we say by the next meeting then?
Yeah.
So we're going to remake a motion. Are there
I
any
have an
other
addition too before you.
amendments? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. My suggested amendment is that we also communicate that the fulfillment of this criteria will impact future eligibility the same way like filing a report would. Like this is replacing that requirement to file a report in order to stay in good standing, however we want to say that. Like,
We're writing
does that
this
make
down.
sense, Jeffrey? Okay.
It does to Maria, not to me. And she's the one making the motion. Next meeting's on March 1.
Should we say that?
Sorry.
Should I re-say the motion?
We'll have to resubmit the motion. March 25.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, I move that Ivan Daniel Espinoza Micromorphosis, Dancing with Fungi, a multimedia bio art installation be approved for payment of the remaining $900 of funds contingent on providing the missing information from the report by March 25th, 2026. Filing of this report is contingent on staying, or is required, excuse me. Filing of this report is required to stay in good standing for future grant eligibility.
Do we have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those against? 4, 1 against. Thank you all.
Okay. Some grant program updates. The FAQ workshop went well. I'm currently planning an AI and accessibility summit. Hopefully the accessibility one will take place this spring, and then we have a date in July for the AI one. Looking forward to that. We received 65 new general operating support applications. Those are all available for the commissioners to view currently if you are curious in the shared documents folder. I know there was some concern about whether the additional bedrock addendum was accessible. I think the fact that 32 of these applicants applied speaks for itself.
Bravo.
And, we have our panel meeting for this on March 25th, and Cheryl will be the commission liaison. Oh, sorry, yes, Caroline.
I had a question about that and wondering as we go through the applications, if we have, as commissioners, particular questions about applications, is that appropriate for us to pass those on to Cheryl or just let the committee, like, I don't know what's appropriate.
I mean, it's a liaison, which implies communication, but also it's in ex officio. So I think so long as there's no, I don't know, Lauren, what would you say?
That's a very good question. I would add that the panel is technically sequestered at this point too.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think-
that's influencing them if I ask a question.
Yeah,
Make
I
I think-
apologize. I mean, I hate to, for the commission not to feel connected into this, to the process as much as it is, but the idea was to have a panel, like a paid panel that is a independent body.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I just wanted,
Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I just assume some
Yeah.
will come up at some point. So,
Oh, sure.
Okay. No
Why
problem.
don't you start with us first and we'll see if we can help you. How's that?
Yes, and certainly there can be discussion after the panel's recommendations is put forth to the commission as well. Any other questions about general operating support? Okay. Some upcoming deadlines for people to know about. The grant writing fund round 2 is Monday, March 2nd, and that's a first come first serve grant. And then for competitive grants, the next deadlines are for the Boulder Vision. The pre-application for organizations is due March 16th, and the full application is due March 23rd. And then the deadlines for the individual version of that are in April. So I'll come back around with an update on that. And I believe that's it. Thank you.
And questions about the manager's memo, or did we just do that?
I think we did. Do we have any other questions about the manager's memo?
Okay.
I would ask, and I know everybody's sick, so I appreciate that you stay home. However, in March, we will have the comprehensive plan, the vote on the arts blueprint, some general operating things, budget things for next year. So
Take your vitamin C. Oh, that was me last month. Without any other matters, just a quick note that our next meetings are on March 25 and on April 29th. May I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll move to adjourn.
Do we have a second? From Cheryl, all those in favor? You may gavel.
So loud.
Healthy, everyone.
Thank you all.
Yes,
Nice